Auntie Chan, who worked as a housekeeper for 3 years, suddenly said she wanted to quit. Thinking the salary was too low, the wife offered her a raise. But Auntie Chan's eyes were filled with fear as she looked at the husband, Zhou Qing. She left without giving a clear reason, leaving behind a small piece of paper and acting very strangely. Zhou Qing gently comforted his wife, who now had to do all the housework herself. He always seemed like a loving and caring husband. In fact, for the past 3 years, he personally gave her imported Australian vitamins every morning with warm water to keep her healthy, watching closely until she swallowed them. But today, the wife started to realize a terrifying truth. There was a dark secret behind the vitamins she had been taking for 3 years. Right at that moment, Zhou Qing walked into the room and asked suspiciously what she was looking at. Trying to stay calm, she lied and said she was just looking at an old piece of paper. Seeing her pale face, Zhou Qing gently asked if she was tired and offered to take her out for dinner. Behind all this care and their seemingly happy marriage, a scary plot was hidden, though the wife still didn't know the full story. Zhou Qing showed love in every little detail. He put her favorite snacks in her bag in case her blood sugar dropped, and he even spent hours cooking soup for her sensitive stomach. But all these sweet actions were just a poison net to gain her total trust. Recently, the wife remembered how she had been feeling dizzy, sick, and constantly sleepy for the past 3 months. Realizing it wasn't just the weather, but these pills, she decided to stop taking them until she found out the truth. To avoid making him suspicious, she pretended to take the pills in front of him and spit them out when he wasn't looking. Within a few days, she felt much more energetic, and her mind became clearer. This made her even more certain that something scary was going on. The pill bottle was real, but she suspected Zhou Qing had swapped the pills inside. So, she took them to her friend, Wei Wei, asking for a lab test. Her friend told her not to overthink, saying a careful husband like Zhou Qing would never fake her medicine, but she still agreed to test them in the lab. The fact that he seemed like a perfect husband to everyone else made the situation even scarier. She knew the pills weren't vitamins, but carefully planned poison. Still, she had to keep acting normal in front of him. Zhou Qing started to get suspicious. After giving her the pill, he even made her open her mouth to check if it was hidden under her tongue. Forced to swallow the pill in front of him, the wife rushed into the bathroom as soon as he turned around and threw it all up. When Zhou Qing angrily asked why the bathroom door was locked, she quickly made an excuse, saying she had an upset stomach, and kept things under control. Waiting 7 long days for the lab results from her friend felt like a never-ending nightmare. Swallowing the pills and throwing them up was her only way to survive, but it was ruining her health day by day. Seeing her pale face and weak body, Zhou Qing insisted on taking her to the hospital. Going to a doctor he chose felt like walking into a trap, so she refused. But Zhou Qing took her to his chosen doctor anyway. The medical test showed acid burns and inflammation in her esophagus and stomach lining. The doctor said it was nothing serious and gave her some stomach medicine. But she knew the truth. The injuries weren't from the pills, but from throwing up every single morning. On the way home, Zhou Qing pushed her to take the vitamins again. This time, she cleverly refused, saying mixing the stomach medicine with the vitamins might cause bad side effects. Zhou Qing agreed because it made sense, but he never stopped watching her every move. The next day, Zhou Qing hired a new maid and told her to pay special attention to his wife's food. Seeing how detailed he was about her diet, the maid couldn't stop praising him, thinking he loved his wife so much. But behind the maid's back, Zhou Qing secretly handed her a special ingredient, telling her to add it whenever she cooked soup. Since he couldn't force her to take the pills anymore, he planned to put the poison in her soup instead. Watching Zhou Qing try so hard to feed her the soup, the wife decided she wouldn't let herself be destroyed. She needed to take back control of her life. To escape his constant watching, she came up with a trick. She showed him a popular social media trend for a body detox and skin routine to distract him. Zhou Qing said these detox methods were meaningless, but when she acted cute and pleaded with him, he agreed and took her shopping for supplies. Her plan was simple. Use the detox as an excuse to avoid the food and water controlled by her husband. However, clever Zhou Qing bought tons of bottled water right at the supermarket, cleverly taking control of her plan again. When she was at home washing lemons to make her detox drink, Zhou Qing offered to help. She refused, saying the drink only worked if made by oneself, keeping him away. While preparing it, she accidentally cut her finger with a knife, and Zhou Qing panicked, showing deep concern. If she hadn't seen him secretly hand that powder packet to the maid, she definitely would have fallen for his caring act once again. Because she cut her hand, Zhou Qing tried to take over and finish the work, but she strongly refused and did it all herself. To keep him from getting suspicious, she pretended to throw a little tantrum like a child, and Zhou Qing finally gave in. From that day on, she officially drank only her own bottled water and ate her self-prepared health food. Within a few days, her skin looked noticeably healthier. Watching her skin glow again, Zhou Qing asked her about it curiously. But this was just the calm before the storm, as both of them were waiting for their moment. Then, a message arrived from her friend, Wei Wei, saying the lab results were ready. Excited and nervous to find out what kind of poison Zhou Qing was using, she quickly read the report. Unexpectedly, the results showed that the pill was just a real, normal vitamin. While she stood there shocked and confused, Zhou Qing walked in with his usual sweet smile, handing her another pill and saying it was time for her medicine. Even though the test results said it was a real vitamin, she didn't believe it at all. Getting better after stopping the pills was an undeniable fact. She realized there must be a secret difference between the pills tested in the lab and the ones she was forced to take every morning. When Zhou Qing asked with deep concern if she wanted to go to the hospital, she made an excuse that she was just feeling a little dizzy and stayed in her room. She realized that a clever man like Zhou Qing had only let her take the real vitamins to the lab, while hiding the real poison somewhere secret. Right then, she suddenly remembered the packet Zhou Qing had quietly handed to the maid. She secretly went down to the kitchen and caught the maid red-handed, adding something into the soup pot. Surprised and terrified, the maid tried to hide it, making up an excuse that it was just a regular spice when the wife angrily asked what she had just put in. The wife, shaken and angry, asked why she had to add a simple spice so secretly. Since the maid kept trying to cover it up, the wife gave her a final warning, saying she would call the police right away and sue her for poisoning. Terrified, the maid finally confessed the truth, saying the master had ordered her to do it. Just then, Zhou Qing walked in and tried to explain. But the wife angrily confronted him, saying she had recorded everything in the kitchen on video and that the powder was clearly medicine, not spice. When she pulled out her phone to call the police and test the powder, Zhou Qing panicked and tried to grab her phone. Seeing his desperate reaction, she became completely sure that he was terrified of the police because he had given those powders himself. However, caught in a corner, Zhou Qing suddenly revealed an unexpected truth. He confessed that these powders were special medicine for her stomach problem. He explained that he couldn't bear to see her suffer from stomach pain anymore, so he asked the maid to secretly put them in her food. Since she always refused to take medicine with food, he had to secretly care for her with the maid's help, leading to this huge misunderstanding. She didn't believe his explanation at all and asked, "If it's medicine for my stomach, why didn't you tell me openly instead of hiding it in my food?" Zhou Qing replied that he was just deeply worried about her behavior. He admitted he knew she was making her own detox drinks and throwing up her daily pills behind his back. He begged for forgiveness, saying he used this method only because he couldn't stand watching her health get worse day by day. The maid also spoke up, saying Zhou Qing was truly acting out of love for her. Still, she couldn't shake off the suspicion that the two were working together to trick her. Wanting to clear all her doubts once and for all, she actually called the police. When the police thoroughly tested the powder, the official lab report showed that it was not poison, but just regular medicine to help her stomach and digestion. Once the truth came out, Zhou Qing thanked the police officers, and the misunderstanding seemed to be resolved. The police officer said it was understandable for women to want to protect themselves, but warned Zhou Qing that secretly putting medicine in food, even with good intentions, was wrong, stressing that transparency is essential between a husband and wife. Zhou Qing agreed with the officer's advice and promised with a smile to be more careful in the future. The police officer told her not to worry too much by looking at extreme stories on social media and news, reminding her that trust is key in a marriage before leaving. The police, the lab results, and the maid's story all seemed completely solid and convincing. Yet, she still couldn't put her doubts to rest. The fear in Auntie Chan's eyes, who had worked for them for 3 years, and her own body's unusual changes were real. The fact that everything had such a logical explanation made her suspect even more that her husband had carefully crafted this whole trick. Believing that Auntie Chan left because she knew something, she tried to call her, only to find out that the number was no longer in service. Since a phone number used for many years was suddenly cancelled, she became even more certain that a big mystery was hidden here. While thinking about how to investigate the truth, her friend Wei Wei called, inviting her on a 3-day trip to an ancient town. When she asked Zhou Qing for permission, he agreed, giving her a great chance to escape his watching eyes for a while and search for the truth. As soon as her husband allowed it, she happily called Wei Wei back to confirm she was coming. After packing her bags, on the morning of the trip, Zhou Qing warmly said goodbye, telling her to take care and keep in touch. He even asked Wei Wei to take good care of his wife during the trip. However, once she got on the bus and escaped her husband's watchful eyes, the truth came out. This trip wasn't a relaxing vacation with Wei Wei, but a careful plan made behind Zhou Qing's back. Wei Wei asked why she was being so secretive about the trip, but she kept the truth to herself for a while, saying she would explain when the time was right. When they arrived at the ancient town, the tour guide announced that everyone could enjoy their free time the next morning. Wei Wei suggested visiting a park tomorrow, but she had her own secret plan: to investigate Zhou Qing's secret and find out why Auntie Chan had disappeared. She told Wei Wei she couldn't join her at the park the next morning. Seeing Wei Wei's surprised face, she comforted her, saying she had an urgent matter in another town, and promised to return to the hotel exactly at 12 p.m. before their next schedule started. The next morning, she traveled alone to Auntie Chan's hometown. When she asked a local resident for Auntie Chan's address, she heard a shocking truth. Auntie Chan had never returned to the village. The local pointed out that Auntie Chan's house was still locked. This made her wonder even more. Why was Auntie Chan hiding in fear instead of coming back to her own home? When she returned home after the trip, she acted exhausted and showed Zhou Qing the photos from the trip to keep him from getting suspicious. Zhou Qing happily looked at the photos. The pictures and proof were just clear evidence she had carefully prepared to trick him. To help her relax, Zhou Qing lovingly cared for her, adding aromatic oils to her warm bathwater. Once inside the bathroom, she started looking for another way to uncover the truth without him knowing. Realizing that Auntie Chan might be looking for work through maid agencies with a new number, she searched online and luckily found Auntie Chan's new contact information. Knowing Zhou Qing might monitor her phone at any time, she didn't use her own phone at all. Instead, she went out secretly and bought an anonymous phone card. She then called Auntie Chan and introduced herself as Su Qing, which made Auntie Chan panic instantly. Auntie Chan cried and begged her to hang up, saying Zhou Qing was not a good man but a terrifying monster, and that her life would be in danger if he found out. She repeatedly pleaded, reassuring Auntie Chan that Zhou Qing could never track this new number and that she just wanted to know what happened that night. Finally, Auntie Chan started revealing the truth. One night, while going to the bathroom late at night, she saw a light in the study room. Peeking inside, she accidentally witnessed a terrifying secret. That scary scene kept her awake all night, forcing her to quit her job and run away as fast as she could the very next day, Auntie Chan explained with a trembling voice. Auntie Chan confessed with a trembling voice that she was terrified Zhou Qing would kill her. That was why she didn't dare to reveal the truth to anyone and could only leave a hidden clue on a piece of paper. She then warned the wife to run away from this dangerous man as fast as possible. However, the wife decided not to run away. Instead, she chose to stay and find proof of her husband's terrifying plan. She realized that the previous lab test showed a real vitamin only because Zhou Qing had become suspicious after Auntie Chan left and swapped the poison back to real vitamins. She knew the actual poison pills must still be hidden somewhere inside the house. So, she quietly headed straight to the study room, the place where Auntie Chan had witnessed something late at night. While she was searching for evidence inside the study room, Zhou Qing suddenly walked in. She cleverly made an excuse, saying she was just dusting the bookshelves. She had once asked him about a locked drawer near the corner of the room, curious about what was inside. Back then, Zhou Qing had calmly replied that it contained important company documents. Now, she was completely sure that all of Zhou Qing's secrets and the scary truth were hidden inside that locked drawer. While working in the study, Zhou Qing asked his wife, who came in to bring him food, if she had any other work left. She said no and walked out. But her mind was completely focused on one question. Where could Zhou Qing be hiding the key to that locked drawer? When Zhou Qing came home from work that night, she quietly checked his clothes to see if the key was there, but found nothing. Still, she refused to give up and decided to wait patiently for him to fall asleep. At bedtime, she made an excuse that she was thirsty and asked Zhou Qing to get her a glass of water. As Zhou Qing got out of bed, she spotted a small key cleverly hidden behind the jade pendant on his necklace. Carrying that jade necklace every single day was just a perfect cover to hide the key right on his body. She braced herself, determined to take control of her destiny and save her own life. Just as he slept, Zhou Qing suddenly shouted in his nightmare, "Don't run!" Hearing this terrifying shout, she panicked, wondering if he was referring to Auntie Chan or to her. While Zhou Qing was fast asleep, she gently tried to remove the key from his neck without waking him up. Suddenly, Zhou Qing opened his eyes and stared at his wife with a cold, terrifying glare. Realizing that her husband was wide awake, the wife was frozen in absolute terror. Opening his eyes and seeing the key in her hand, Zhou Qing asked with a creepy smile if she really wanted to know the secret inside the drawer, before violently trying to choke her to death. Terrified and gasping for air, the wife suddenly woke up, realizing that it was all just a horrifying nightmare. As soon as morning came, the wife left the house early, using a yoga class as her excuse. Her real target was to make a new key using the mold she had secretly made behind her husband's back. As soon as she got the new key, she returned home and pretended to be sweaty from a hard session at yoga class so he wouldn't get suspicious. Now, all she needed was a chance when Zhou Qing wasn't home. Luckily, Zhou Qing's friend suddenly invited him out for late-night drinks. When Zhou Qing hesitantly asked for permission, she pretended not to want him to go. In her heart, though, she desperately wanted him to leave quickly so she could use the new key to unlock the drawer and check the terrifying secrets inside. Zhou Qing promised to return before 12 a.m., saying his friends were begging him to come, and left. As soon as he walked out, she got ready to unlock the drawer, but unexpected steps sounded as Zhou Qing walked back inside. He claimed he turned back halfway because he didn't want to leave her alone, but she noticed he was actually watching her closely. Using a clever trick, she pretended she was just looking for a movie disc, and Zhou Qing helped her search. The next morning, taking the snack packet she had prepared, he finally left for real. This time, as soon as he was officially gone, she rushed into the study room and quickly opened the drawer with her new key. The documents and secrets inside hit her like a heavy blow, leaving her frozen in absolute shock. In Zhou Qing's eyes, she was nothing more than a lab rat for his experiments. The real goal behind giving her pills for 2 whole years wasn't just to make her lose her mind, it was a plan to end her life completely. According to his cruel plan, he was using the pills to slowly ruin her body and mental health, planning to fake an accident later to collect a massive insurance payout. Discovering this terrifying monster behind her loving husband's face, her heart filled with bitterness. With a cold, terrifying smile, she swore that the life and death game between them had just begun. Zhou Qing returned home with a warm smile, bringing her favorite cakes. The man she once thought was a caring husband was now a monster planning to take her life. All their sweet moments and kind acts were just part of a show he put on, with her life as the prize. When Zhou Qing hugged her, she clearly smelled another woman's perfume on his body. She realized the full truth. He was teaming up with his mistress to kill her for the insurance money. When he asked about her mood with fake concern, she cleverly lied, saying she was just feeling moody because her period was coming. Knowing the truth, she decided to keep playing the dumb, clueless wife. Right before bed, when Zhou Qing handed her a cup of warm milk saying it would help her sleep, she drank it trustingly right in front of him, pretending to know nothing at all. As soon as her husband left, the wife rushed into the bathroom and threw up all the milk she had just drunk. She couldn't let her body be ruined like this anymore. Bracing herself, she was determined to stay alive and punish this monster herself. The next morning, using yoga class as an excuse, she left the house and secretly met her friend Wei Wei. The wife opened up to Wei Wei, sharing all the evidence of how Zhou Qing was poisoning her. However, Wei Wei didn't believe her at all, assuming the wife was just overstressed and overly suspicious. Wei Wei defended Zhou Qing in every way, arguing that the detailed health records and company insurance contracts he wrote were only created because he was deeply worried about his wife and wanted to show them to a doctor. The wife realized that Zhou Qing had cleverly set up the story with Wei Wei in advance. Because of her husband's carefully crafted trap, even her closest friend thought she was going crazy, leaving the wife feeling completely helpless and stuck in a corner. Wei Wei completely defended Zhou Qing, saying he got insurance for her only because he was terrified when she had a car accident 2 years ago. On top of that, looking at her actions, Wei Wei thought the wife was losing her mind due to extreme stress. Clever Zhou Qing had systematically set up the narrative beforehand so that anyone the wife went to or questioned would think she was mentally ill. As soon as the wife left, Wei Wei even called Zhou Qing, encouraging him to take his wife to a psychiatrist as soon as possible because her mental state was getting worse. Zhou Qing was planning to isolate the wife not just physically, but also mentally and socially from everyone around her. Once everyone viewed her as a mentally ill person, all the truths she spoke turned into crazy fantasies. When she returned home, Zhou Qing knew every little detail, even which shop she went to and who she met. Realizing that her husband was controlling her every move and playing with her as he pleased, the wife felt like a total fool, and the fight for her life grew even more intense. Trying to escape this trapped situation, the wife called her mother, saying she wanted to come stay at her parents' house for a few days to talk openly about Zhou Qing. However, her hopes were crushed instantly. Her mother asked if she was under too much stress. Zhou Qing had already reached out to her parents in advance, convincingly lying that the wife couldn't sleep at night, had crazy delusions, felt like everyone was trying to hurt her, and had even fired Auntie Chan for no reason. Her mother advised her to stay calm and stop creating trouble, saying Zhou Qing was caring for her non-stop despite his busy work schedule. Facing a situation where even her own parents had fallen for her husband's trap and no longer believed her, the wife felt completely trapped, experiencing a terrifying sense of isolation, as if she were left all alone in the world. The wife cried out for help, saying her husband was poisoning her, but her parents completely disbelieved her, asking what she was blabbering about before hanging up the phone. Realizing that even her own parents had fallen under her husband's tricks and marked her as mentally ill, the wife felt utterly trapped. She clearly understood that Zhou Qing's goal was to make her go crazy so everyone would abandon her. Still, refusing to give up, she called Auntie Chan back. Auntie Chan wept, begging her to run far away, but the wife knew all too well that if she simply ran away, her husband would claim her mental illness made her disappear while secretly killing her outside. Knowing that running away wouldn't solve anything, she realized she had to fight back. She then began plotting a dark plan to get even with Zhou Qing, using the very story he created about her being mentally ill. She asked Auntie Chan for help, explaining that she needed the real pill as evidence. Since Zhou Qing was constantly watching her, she couldn't trust anyone else. Expecting the maid to refuse such a dangerous request when even her own family wouldn't help, she was moved when Auntie Chan wholeheartedly agreed. Auntie Chan had a nephew who worked as a delivery driver in the city. They planned to meet her nephew secretly once she got the pill to hand over the evidence. Getting the pill and the lab result would finally pull off Zhou Qing's evil mask once and for all. However, clever Zhou Qing no longer handed her pills directly. Instead, he secretly put them into the milk she drank every night. To lower his guard, the wife pretended to drink the milk in front of him, only to spit it out when he wasn't looking. After spitting out the poisoned milk and pretending to sleep, she woke up the next morning to find Zhou Qing sitting beside the bed, watching her with cold eyes. Even though she went to bed early, she acted dizzy and sleepy in front of him. Zhou Qing calmly replied that it was just because of the changing weather. After taking a shower, she secretly searched her side bag for the drawer key she had copied without his knowledge, only to find that the key was missing. Right at that moment, Zhou Qing walked in and asked if she was leaving for her dentist appointment. She cleverly lied that she couldn't find her car key, so Zhou Qing offered to drive her there in his car. But when they arrived at the dental clinic, the receptionist informed her that her appointment had already been cancelled last week. The wife angrily denied it, saying she never cancelled it herself. However, the system clearly showed that it was cancelled directly from her phone account last Wednesday night. Since she was fast asleep at that time, she instantly realized that her husband had used her phone behind her back to quietly cancel it. As she angrily argued in front of the clinic staff that the system was wrong, Zhou Qing just stood there with a gentle smile, acting like a caring husband dealing with a mentally ill wife. Inside this carefully set trap, the wife felt herself sinking even deeper into being seen as a crazy person in everyone's eyes. The wife angrily argued with the clinic staff, insisting that the system was wrong, but the clinic firmly stated there was no error on their end. Right then, Zhou Qing gently suggested she check her phone messages. When she opened her phone, she was shocked to find the actual message confirming the cancellation. Zhou Qing apologized to the staff, claiming his wife was struggling with memory loss. The staff then looked at her with disgust. Even though she knew she had never done it herself, the proof inside her phone completely confused her. She quickly realized that Zhou Qing had secretly used her phone while she was asleep to set this up. However, to lower her husband's guard and pull him into her own trick, she decided to play along. Hugging him, she acted heartbroken and vulnerable, asking tearfully if she was truly losing her mind and memory. Thinking his wife was completely trapped in his psychological snare, Zhou Qing comforted her with a cold smile. He calmly reassured her that her memory was just temporarily blurry from lack of sleep. Taking advantage of the moment, she cleverly brought up his trap, asking if her body was reacting this way because she stopped taking her daily vitamins. Zhou Qing made up a quick excuse, saying her body was just reacting to stopping the pills suddenly. After that, though, He never mentioned the vitamins again and kept watching her with high caution. While she was figuring out how to lower his vigilance, her parents unexpectedly arrived at the house. Zhou Qing had secretly invited them beforehand under the excuse of having a nice family dinner together. When her parents arrived, Zhou Qing acted like a saint. Right in front of them, he pretended to ask for help, claiming his wife was unwell, drinking useless detox drinks, and refusing to go to the hospital. Her parents completely fell for his act, scolding her for being difficult and insisting she go to the hospital. Seeing her own parents act like puppets controlled by her husband, the wife felt even more heartbroken and deeply trapped in Zhou Qing's twisted mind games. Zhou Qing continued his loving act, comforting his visibly upset wife and guiding her to the dinner table. In her parents' eyes, she was painted as an unreasonable, terrible wife, leaving her with no way to defend herself. At the dinner table, her mother recalled how Zhou Qing started with nothing years ago, leading her to initially oppose the marriage. However, she praised him for earning their trust through sheer hard work. Her father also praised him like a real son, remembering how Zhou Qing cared for him day and night for over a month when he was hospitalized with a brain blockage 2 years ago. Shocked, the wife asked why she never knew about her father being in the hospital. Her parents replied that she was away on a trip at the time, so Zhou Qing had kept it secret to spare her from worrying. Realizing that Zhou Qing had been blocking information and systematically isolating her from her parents for years, the wife was filled with pure horror. Right at that moment, Zhou Qing smiled coldly and prepared to give her the pill right in front of her parents. By forcing her to take it, he planned to prove his loving care to them, putting her in a terrifying trap where she couldn't easily refuse. She quickly calculated that if she refused, it would only prove Zhou Qing's story that she was an unreasonable, crazy wife. So, she decided to grab this opportunity and get hold of the pill. Expressing her fake gratitude, she pretended to take the pill and suddenly started coughing uncontrollably, as if choking on it. While Zhou Qing and her parents panicked and handed her water, she cleverly used a tissue to wipe the pill out of her mouth into her palm under the cover of her cough. Saying she was fine after a sip of water, her parents sighed in relief. Just like that, she finally got her hands on the real, hard proof, the poison pill created by her twisted husband. With the main evidence in hand, the next critical step was to secretly sneak it out and get it tested. The next morning, even though Zhou Qing had an important meeting, he prepared to drive her parents back home. Using the excuse that she had missed her father's hospital stay in the past and needed to be a good daughter by driving them home herself, she smartly turned down Zhou Qing's offer. Seeing her logical reasoning, Zhou Qing allowed her to take her parents home. After safely dropping off her parents, her mother praised Zhou Qing again, saying how lucky she was to have such a great husband and reminding her to listen to him. Saying goodbye to her parents, she immediately made a secret call to Auntie Chan to inform her that she had the pill. Auntie Chan instructed her that her nephew, wearing a blue delivery uniform, was waiting for her near the front gate of the antique market. To trick Zhou Qing, she secretly headed to the antique market under the cover of visiting her parents. However, when she arrived at the meeting spot, a terrifying sight met her eyes. Zhou Qing's car was parked right there. She instantly realized that if she walked up and handed the pill to the delivery guy, Zhou Qing would catch her red-handed, destroying all her efforts. Zhou Qing wasn't at his company. He knew her every move in advance and was waiting to trap her. She wasn't fighting a normal human being, but a masked monster who saw through all her moves before she even made them. With her plan ruined, she returned home. Zhou Qing greeted her with his usual warm smile, acting completely innocent and saying he was relieved to hear from her parents that she arrived safely. Feeling exhausted and mentally broken under his psychological trap, she could only wait anxiously for her next move. Zhou Qing lovingly advised her to take a warm bath to relax, just like he always did. Once inside the bathroom, she broke down in tears, crushed by the complete destruction of her hopes. All her hard efforts were nothing more than a sick entertainment for Zhou Qing, who waited until the very last moment of her success just to crush her hopes into pieces. Even though she was completely trapped, the wife found one last way out. The next morning, when Zhou Qing came to give her the pill, she smartly knocked the glass out of his hand. As Zhou Qing stood there in total shock, she swore with a terrifying smile in her heart that a brand new game had officially begun. She decided to play the role of a truly insane person, exactly according to the psycho story Zhou Qing had built. She knew that to collect the insurance money, he would never dare to take off his mask as a perfect husband. She began smashing and destroying everything he cherished inside the house, from limited edition CDs and rare antique book devices to jade teapots worth tens of thousands of dollars. Looking at his seemingly crazy wife, Zhou Qing grit his teeth, not daring to stop her. Realizing his weakness, that he had to endure everything to keep his twisted scheme flawless, the wife challenged him with a terrifying smile. Later, Zhou Qing invited guests to the house and proudly showed off an expensive fish tank he bought for a high price from Japan. Right at that moment, the wife walked out barefoot like a madwoman and poured liquid into the tank, completely ruining it. Zhou Qing shouted in rage right in front of the guests, but quickly forced himself to regain control. Apologizing to the guests, he claimed his wife was suffering from severe mental illness and sent them away. As soon as the guests left, Zhou Qing coldly warned her that he had hired a specialized live-in nurse to watch and care for her 24 hours a day, and she would arrive the next morning. Acting insane according to his script, the wife prepared to drag this new nurse into her game as well. The next morning, the female nurse named Wang Zhang arrived. Zhou Qing explained his wife's mental condition, and Wang Zhang promised to take the best care of her. Zhou Qing showed her the room and explained the house layout. Wang Zhang was extremely sharp, cold, and calm, looking more like a hired guard than a caregiver. The wife panicked, wondering if this woman was just another tool in Zhou Qing's twisted trap. When Zhou Qing left for his company, Wang Zhang brought dinner to the wife's room. Pretending to be insane, the wife refused to eat, but Wang Zhang remained calm as if nothing happened. Seeing her calm reactions, the wife thought her act had no effect on this woman. However, an unexpected twist occurred. Wang Zhang secretly handed the wife a small note. The note read, "If you are not really crazy yet, put the necessary evidence under your pillow. I will get it out of the house for you tomorrow." The wife was instantly caught in deep doubt. Was this a trap set by Zhou Qing to test if she was faking her madness, or was Wang Zhang a real partner coming to help her? However, with no other options left in her current situation, she decided to take this extremely dangerous gamble. The next morning, when Zhou Qing left for an important company meeting, the wife made sure to hide the pill evidence under her pillow. When Wang Zhang arrived to make the bed and quietly took the pill from under the pillow, the wife finally saw her first ray of hope to escape. After getting the pill evidence from the wife, Wang Zhang secretly left the house to get it tested, using the excuse that there were no vegetables left in the house and she needed to pop out to the grocery store. Meanwhile, the wife forced herself to swallow her food, trying not to lose her strength for the even more brutal battle ahead. To trick Zhou Qing's watchful eyes, she covered herself under the mask of a crazy person, painting on the walls and shouting songs, hiding her fear behind her act. In the evening, Wang Zhang returned home with the lab test results. To avoid making Zhou Qing suspicious, Wang Zhang held a dinner bowl, kept her head down, and secretly read out the results in a voice only the wife could hear. This pill is a mixture of a strong sleeping pill and a nerve drug that damages the central nervous system. If given systematically over a long period, it reduces memory and slows down reactions. Eventually, it completely destroys the central nervous system, making it look like the person stopped breathing naturally in their sleep. This kind of death looks so natural that it is extremely difficult to detect through a lab test. Upon learning the truth behind Zhou Qing's cruel murder plan and receiving real scientific proof, deep bitterness and a solid revenge plan formed in her heart, a plan to send Zhou Qing straight to hell. Hearing the real truth about the poison pills, the wife acted like a madwoman, crying and shouting uncontrollably. Wang Zhang calmly mentioned that Zhou Qing had called, saying he would be home late due to a late-night drinking session for work. On top of that, Wang Zhang secretly shared another piece of news. "Today in the city, in front of the luxury Boy Weifu condo, I saw a car that looked identical to your husband's." Boy Weifu was the city's most expensive riverside condo, where only the rich lived. The wife instantly realized that Zhou Qing had lied about his important company meeting to hide his mistress at that condo instead. While planning to poison his wife on one hand, he was pampering his mistress with his wife's fortune on the other. His evilness had reached its peak. Now everything was complete: the lab report, the proof of his affair, and a clear crime motive. However, to get undeniable proof for the courtroom, she still needed a video or audio recording of Zhou Qing directly handing the pills into her hands. Right at that moment, Wang Zhang pretended to trip and bumped into the wife. As Wang Zhang faked her fall, a hidden camera was secretly slipped into the wife's hand. Still playing the role of a crazy woman, the wife quietly planted the camera inside the eye of a teddy bear. That night, Zhou Qing finally arrived home. When the nurse, Wang Zhang, reported that the wife was eating again and her mood was stable, Zhou Qing praised Wang Zhang for her great work. With his usual fake smile, Zhou Qing handed her the poison pill, directly feeding it to her while saying, "My love, Take your vitamins so you can recover quickly. Then we can be happy together just like before. Inside the teddy bear, the hidden camera captured every single detail of her taking the poison pill from Zhou Qing's hand. Swallowing the pill, she hugged her husband and gave him one final challenge with a creepy, mysterious smile. My husband! I am so lucky to have met you in this life. After feeding her the pill, Zhou Qing left for the study, claiming he had work to finish. The wife rushed into the bathroom to throw up the pill, swearing with a scary smile that Zhou Qing's ultimate downfall was now close at hand. The next morning, Zhou Qing told her they were going to his mother's 60th birthday party. Still acting insane, the wife pretended to be terrified of crowds and refused to go. However, Zhou Qing's main goal was to show off her mental illness in front of all his relatives and friends. He wanted to gain everyone's sympathy and lock his mask as a perfect husband tightly in place. So, he ordered nurse Wang Zhang to dress the wife neatly and bring her along to the party. Looking at his actions, the wife smiled inwardly, realizing he was actually building the perfect stage for her to end this game once and for all. When they arrived at the hotel banquet hall, relatives and guests watched Zhou Qing lovingly care for his mentally ill wife, showering him with praises. Zhou Qing is such a noble and loyal husband. Whispers echoed through the crowd. Any other man would have abandoned a crazy wife long ago. Zhou Qing is truly a model husband. Zhou Qing gently guided his wife to greet his mother, officially starting the birthday ceremony. The host took the microphone and began giving a speech to honor Zhou Qing's mother on her 60th birthday. He praised her not only for her sacrifices, but also highlighted Zhou Qing as a dutiful son in both work and family. He especially honored Zhou Qing's noble love for staying loyal and caring for his wife even through her mental illness. Enjoying the crowd's admiration, Zhou Qing gently patted her shoulder, acting sweet and saying, "Be a good girl, okay?" Just as the host invited Zhou Qing onto the stage to give a speech, the wife suddenly grabbed a wine glass and stood up. Zhou Qing's mother complained in frustration. "See, I told you not to bring her. She's going to cause trouble." Guests also commented with pity. It must be so hard for Zhou Qing to live with a woman like her. Who knows how crazy she gets at home? Trying to maintain his image as a patient husband, Zhou Qing tried to stop her, saying, "Su Qing, don't act out." But the wife ignored his attempts and walked straight onto the stage. Terrified that his mask would peel off in front of everyone, Zhou Qing panicked and shouted furiously, "Su Qing, come back! Stop right now!" She threw the wine onto the screen. As Zhou Qing rushed forward to hit her in rage, the nurse, Wang Zhang, stepped up on stage and bravely stopped him. "Mr. Zhou, let go of Mrs. Zhou. Your actions right now amount to domestic violence." Wang Zhang walked over to the projector and played the hidden camera recording on the big screen for everyone to see. On the screen, Zhou Qing appeared with his fake, sweet smile, forcing the pills down her throat while saying, "My love, take your vitamins so we can be happy together just like before." Panicking, Zhou Qing screamed and cursed, "Turn it off! Turn it off right now!" But it was too late. Wang Zhang then read the lab test result aloud into the microphone. This is the so-called vitamin that Mr. Zhou fed his wife every day. The test shows that the main ingredients are strong sleeping pills and neurological drugs. Used long-term, this combination destroys the central nervous system, causing the person to stop breathing naturally in their sleep. The relatives, friends, and parents were shocked as the truth hit them. Looking at Zhou Qing with pure disgust, someone gasped, "My God! He was murdering her!" Zhou Qing's mask as a perfect husband completely shattered before the crowd. Thanks to her dangerous gamble, Zhou Qing was finally exposed, facing legal punishment and his ultimate downfall. Whispers flooded the room. "This is so terrifying. The husband living next to her was a monster. Why would he do this? Su Qing was such a sweet girl." Zhou Qing panicked and screamed furiously, "No! This is all wrong. This crazy woman is lying and framing me. She was crazy from the start, and she planned this with a maid to ruin me." Standing calm and brave, the wife held the microphone, looking at Zhou Qing with total disgust. "Yes, I almost went crazy. Under the drugs you fed me every day and your psychological torture, my reactions slowed down, my head felt foggy, and I constantly felt sleepy. I lost my memory and even doubted my own life. I used to think all of this was your love and care for me. Until Auntie Chan secretly left a note for me. Do you want to know what it said? It read, 'What you are taking every day is not a vitamin. Run away as fast as you can.' The day you realized I found that note, You started panicking even more, didn't you? From that day on, you put on an even smarter show. You watched me, stalked me, isolated me from my friends, and finally painted me as a crazy person right in front of my own parents to block every single exit. You enjoyed playing with me in the palm of your hand, didn't you? You thought that even if I had wings, I couldn't escape and would just stay silent while you killed me. Her voice echoed through the hall, tearing through his psychological snare and bravely revealing the truth. The entire room fell dead silent, and Zhou Qing's evil acts were laid completely bare in front of everyone. Even as undeniable proof came to light, Zhou Qing panicked and denied it. No! These are all false accusations. I did nothing. However, the wife exposed every single one of his secrets in front of the public. Did you really think everything you did was foolproof? The 100 million shot insurance policy with your name as the beneficiary, the mistress you hid in luxury condo room 808 at Boi Wei Fu, and the locked drawer in your study. Did you think all of these would be buried forever with my death? Zhou Qing, you were dead wrong. Your biggest mistake was pushing a woman into a corner and abusing her. You didn't realize that a woman left with nothing would risk her own life to drag you down to hell with her. Right at that moment, police officers entered the banquet hall and handcuffed him, announcing, Zhou Qing, you are under arrest for attempted murder. Please come with us peacefully for investigation. The crowd erupted in shock. I never thought Zhou Qing could be such an evil man. He was a monster wearing the mask of a good person. Zhou Qing's mother collapsed and fainted on the spot, unable to face the ugly truth. As Zhou Qing was dragged away by the police toward his deserved punishment, the wife looked at his ultimate downfall and quietly whispered, Good night, monster. The nurse, Wang Zhang, held her arm and comforted her softly. It's all over now, let's go. Inside the police interrogation room, investigators proved that the nerve-poisoning ingredients found in Su Qing's body matched the exact drugs Zhou Qing had purchased. Cornered with no way out, Zhou Qing confessed. Yes, I poisoned her. I added a little into her vitamin bottle every day. My lover told me people would just think it was a nerve disorder and no one would suspect anything. He admitted that his main motive for murder was that his company ran out of money and was facing financial failure. Just then, another terrifying betrayal behind the truth came to light. Su Qing's close friend arrived at the scene. The mistress Zhou Qing had been hiding was none other than her most trusted friend, Chang Chang. Crying tears of regret, Chang Chang made up excuses. Zhou Qing threatened me. I had no idea he was poisoning you. But the wife instantly saw through the truth. She recalled how, when she first doubted the pills, she asked her friend Chang Chang to test them in a lab. Chang Chang had teamed up with Zhou Qing to cover up the truth, handing her a fake report claiming they were normal vitamins. On top of that, Chang Chang was the very person quietly leaking all of her moves and plans directly to Zhou Qing. Knowing not only her beloved husband's cruelty, but also this massive backstab from her most trusted friend, the heartbreak in her chest was beyond words. Facing undeniable evidence, Chang Chang finally confessed with deep jealousy that she was the one who encouraged Zhou Qing to use the poison. When the wife asked her with deep sorrow, Why did you do this to me? Chang Chang spat out the jealousy and hatred she had harbored for years. You ask why? Su Qing, you were born into a wealthy family with a silver spoon. You got everything easily without making any effort. Look at me. I came from the countryside. My parents had to sell everything just to send me to medical school. I slept only 4 hours a day to stay at the top, yet promotions and scholarships were constantly stolen by people with family connections. Why shouldn't I be bitter? That was why I planned everything so carefully. I shaped my boyfriend, Zhou Qing, from head to toe to match your exact taste. An artistic, knowledgeable man. Knowing you would fall for him, I arranged for you two to meet. When your parents disapproved, I was right beside you whispering, Love is all that matters. And you really believed me, jumping straight into Zhou Qing's trap. Realizing that her whole life, her true love, and her entire marriage were nothing more than a sick puppet show staged by her friend, she stood frozen in absolute shock. With a mocking smile, Chang Chang boasted, Surprised, aren't you? That perfect husband of yours was just a creation I custom-made for you. Shaking her head at the painful truth, the wife replied, So the happy marriage I cherished was all a lie. To hand over the man you love so easily to someone else. Chang Chang, you are a devil even more cruel and evil than Zhou Qing. Chang Chang sneered. Love? Zhou Qing was just a tool for me to climb up the ladder. The moment he agreed to my plan, He proved we were the same. People who refused to stay at the bottom forever. He was just a fool who messed up his moves at the end and got caught. Sensing that the police officers were closing in, Chang Chang added, Su Qing, you won this game, but you lost 3 years of your life to a fake love that never existed from the start. We are tied. Standing calm and firm, the wife gave her final response. Except I still have the chance to start my life over, while you have none. News outlets announced that Zhou Qing's company stock had completely crashed and collapsed due to his carefully planned insurance fraud and attempted murder. The lawyer also informed her, the court has seized all of Zhou Qing's assets, including the Boi Weifu condo. Tomorrow, I will claim full compensation for you. When everything finally ended, her mother apologized with tears streaming down her face. My daughter! I am so sorry. We were so wrong about you. Defeating the evil trap of her monster husband and backstabbing friend with her own intelligence and courage, she closed the chapter on her painful past and bravely stepped into a new life. Her mother wept, saying in deep regret, we were all tricked by Chang Chang. She separated us by claiming that your mind was unstable and seeing us would make it worse. She even showed us medical reports stating you might lose control and hurt people, so we were completely fooled. Her father also pleaded with her, everything is in the past now, my child. Please come back home. We will take proper care of you. However, she refused to go back home with them. Her parents wondered if she was still angry at them, but she replied calmly, I don't blame you. You were just used in their carefully planned game. But I need time and my own space now. For 3 whole years, I lived like a puppet under a crazy script written by others. Now, I want to write my own life story. Though her parents were worried, the lawyer explained that he had already arranged proper doctors for her medical and mental recovery. She also politely refused the bank card her parents offered, saying, the court will divide the assets fairly according to the law. Looking at his daughter's maturity and firmness, her father proudly said, you have grown up so much, my daughter. You are braver and stronger than even I am. To thank nurse Wang Zhang for her crucial help, she offered her some money as a token of gratitude, but Wang Zhang refused it. Wang Zhang revealed the real reason behind her help. I didn't help you for money. 3 years ago, I had a younger sister named Wang Ning. She was also forcefully sent to a mental hospital under her husband's false claim that she suffered from severe depression. 3 months later, she passed away right inside the hospital. Everyone, including my parents, believed him, until I found her diary and learned the truth. But by then, it was already too late. Wang Zhang continued. So when I saw Mr. Zhou's job ad hiring a nurse with a high salary and a privacy agreement to care for his crazy wife, I immediately became suspicious and applied. The moment I first saw you, I knew you weren't insane. Unlike my sister, your eyes didn't show defeat, they showed a bright spark to fight back. You were braver than my sister, and you survived. Helping you was a healing process that lifted a heavy burden from my heart. After that, the wife went to visit Auntie Chan, the housekeeper who had left the note that started uncovering the truth. Auntie Chan cried tears of joy seeing her safe and sound. The wife gave her financial support so she could live a peaceful life. In the final court verdict, defendants Zhou Qing and Chang Chang are sentenced to life imprisonment and permanently stripped of their political rights for multiple crimes, including attempted murder and insurance fraud. The wife donated part of the compensation money from the court to organizations supporting female victims of domestic violence. A year later, she graduated from law school and became a lawyer specializing in women's rights. Driven by her goal, I want to help women trapped in the dark reach the light, she courageously stepped into her new life, bringing the story to a peaceful close.